Good afternoon. We'll now start. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk this afternoon. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There'll be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk, so please show your face in the video. The reminder after the pep talks is to take the online learning com evaluation test exercise or OLETE for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown here. I have placed the link in the chat box. I'll place it again later on. Another reminder, obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a free voucher for a ROJoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Thank you. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please turn on your video now. Please show your faces. One, one, two, three. I placed the link to the OLETE already. Again. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021. This shows the topics covered in the core courses. And then from October 2023, 2021 onwards, I have been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. May 17, 2025, last year marks the start of year 5 of the ROJoson PEP Talk. So we're now going on our 6th year by May. How long the pep talk will last will depend on our enthusiasm, discipline, and perseverance. My pep talk today is, since this is New Year, holistic New Year resolutions, how to do it. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding on how to make holistic New Year resolutions as part of their health management. The contents of this particular pep talk will be the following. What are New Year resolutions? What is the importance of making New Year resolutions? What are holistic, note the word holistic New Year resolutions? And what are the current pitfalls of most New Year resolutions? We know that there are a lot of us doing New Year resolutions. What are the current pitfalls? Okay. And what are my or ROJoson's recommendations how to make holistic New Year resolutions? Disclaimer, my pep talk will contain my thoughts, perceptions, opinions, recommendations culled from my personal experiences as well as from the writings of other professionals. Let's start with the first definition, or the definition of New Year resolutions. So New Year resolutions is a tradition commonly practiced worldwide. Most do this New Year resolution, but some don't. I don't expect everybody to be doing it. So no offense for those who are not doing it. It's all right if you don't like to do it. Okay? So it's a commonly practiced tradition in which a person resolves to continue or develop new new good practices or change an undesired trait or behavior or habit and accomplish a personal goal or goals, etc., at the beginning of a calendar year. Okay? So the requirement for a New Year resolution is that you must willing to you resolve to continue or develop good life practices, change undesired life practices, and then you set the goals for what you're going to do for the next year, for the next 5 years. It could be long range, it could be short range, and then you start on January 1 of the current year. Okay? So it is a promise to do something differently in the new year and maintain good practices. It's also a promise that you make to yourself to start doing something good and stop doing something bad on the first day of the year. And what is the importance of doing New Year resolution? Basically, it's self-improvement. Continuous self-improvement in living a purposeful and meaningful life on earth. So the requirement of a New Year resolution, continuous self-improvement, and there's a plan to live a purposeful and meaningful life on earth. As New Year resolutions can be said to be setting goals for the new year, another importance is that they can provide clarity for the goals and directions in one's life. They allow one to plan a course of definite actions for the future. So there must be goal setting. Goals must be written down. Importante yung sinusulat. And then goals must be clear and as specific as possible. What are holistic New Year resolution? First, what do we mean by holistic? Holistic means relating to or concerned with the wholes in kabuuan and with complete systems rather than with individual parts. It's also concerns with dealing with or treating the whole of something or someone and not just a part of it. And it encompasses the whole of a thing and not just a part. So in short, it's something in totality, encompassing, and comprehensive. So these are the key words for the definitions for holistic. The holistic New Year resolutions are New Year resolutions that are in totality, encompassing, and comprehensive. Note there are so many resolutions that one can make, but one can prioritize. Meaning they can prioritize in terms of within the year, within so many years, within 2 years, within 5 years, but still they must be holistic. There must be comprehensive and encompassing. What are the current pitfalls of most New Year resolutions? Marami tayong naririnig, we have New Year resolutions, ganon, no? But is there such thing as correct New Year resolutions or may mali? No. Most New Year resolutions, for my personal experience, are being done unsystematically, piecemeal, bit by bit, little by little, at random, walang structure, no order, etc., and no follow-through, assessment, and evaluation, and continuous improvement. So most New Year resolutions being done at present are not in totality, encompassing, and comprehensive. So in short, they are not holistic. Some of the New Year resolution of a person that we have seen will be, I want to exercise more, lose weight, get organized, learn a new skills, live life to the fullest, save more money, spend less money, quit smoking, spend more time with family and friends, travel more, and read more. So this can be done unsystematically and piecemeal. Some would have just one or two of this in the list. Okay. Some would have all, but they might be may not they might be something lacking yet. Okay, so they don't see the main reference or guiding theme of the resolutions. So, but all are for improvement, but there's no maintenance of good practices. Another example will be get active with daily exercise routine, eat more fruits and veggies and less processed food, learn a new skill or hobby this year, read a book every month, practice mindfulness through meditation, manage stress through regular breaks, and save money and create a budget. Pwedeng ganon, marami, pero piecemeal ito eh. No, dapat holistic siya. No? Okay. So, So these are mostly done for oneself in mind, leaving out of the interest kung kadalasan wala kasama yung family members and significant loved ones, dapat kasama doon, no? If you're part of a community. And they're limited to some aspect of life practices and not the entire spectrum. Examples limited to some of the physical health in the totality, mental health, and the spiritual health, time management, relationship, management, etc. So, what are my recommendations on how to make holistic New Year resolutions? I like to say that this contains my thoughts, perceptions, opinions, and recommendations. I like to offer an apology if I may be biased towards certain religion or spiritual practices and other practices. No? My recommendations for holistic New Year resolutions will be applicable to all adult people 18 years old in the Philippines and with a sound mind, meaning capable of understanding and of forming a rational judgment. So these recommendations are for these people. I prefer the holistic rather than the piecemeal New Year resolution. That's my preference. That's why I emphasize the word holistic in my title, Holistic New Year Resolution, not just New Year Resolution. Holistic New Year resolutions may be tedious in making, particularly initially, sa umpisa, but in the long run, it produces better outcomes as long as there is discipline and perseverance in sustaining it, in implementing it. Okay? And to be in totality encompassing and comprehensive in making a New Year resolution, which strictly speaking is a personal living plan with set goals of continually developing and improving one's personal life, mindset, and practices. A New Year resolution starts with the formulation of a holistic, intentional living plan at whatever year or age of a person wants to start to seriously do and implement a New Year resolution. So the formulation of an intentional living plan can start 18 years old or thereafter. So to make a holistic New Year resolution, I would suggest that you make something that is akin to a holistic intentional living plan. If one embarks seriously on a holistic New Year resolution project, it should start with the formulation of a holistic intentional living plan, which I will define in a little while. So note the intentional living plan are also frequently done piecemeal. May gumagawa ng intentional living plan, pero piecemeal just like the New Year resolution. Again, I prefer holistic intentional living plans also. So these are an example of piecemeal intentional living plan. So take time to reflect, wait 24 hours before you buy, learn to say no, regularly declutter all the things in your houses, set boundaries, etc., etc. Parang New Year resolution na piecemeal din. Another example of piecemeal intentional living plan, I like to plan, I like to clean, declutter, and this is specific, meal plans, and then exercise, companionship, meditate, and gratitude. Now, mga keywords lang. No? Okay. As I said, I prefer holistic rather than piecemeal New Year resolution making. And I also prefer a holistic intentional living plan over a piecemeal intentional living plan. So when you say holistic New Year resolution is actually synonymous with holistic intentional living plan. Likewise, vice versa, if you say holistic intentional living plan, you are also talking about holistic New Year resolutions. So holistic New Year resolution and holistic intentional plans are just long-term or whole lifetime plans. In totality, encompassing and comprehensive with set goals of continually developing, tuloy-tuloy, hindi lang 1 year, okay, and improving one's personal life, mindset, and practices. It may not be able to achieve set goals in the new year, but eventually achieve in subsequent years and during a lifetime as long as there are discipline and perseverance. Kaya long-term ang goal nito, no? Hindi lang for 1 year. May prioritize, if it's long-term, you may prioritize by year, but should not be totally left out and should at least be started in the current year. And it also includes plans for maintenance of good practices achieved year in and year out with discipline and perseverance. So, as I said, again, holistic New Year resolutions is equivalent to the same as holistic intentional living plan, okay, meaning it's a long-term or whole lifetime plan. It can be started anytime, preferably at age 18. Pwede. Depend on when holistic intentional living plan is formulated. So when you are 18 years old, you can start it. When you have not done it before, you can start at any age. 40 years old, 65, 70, 75, etc. Okay. So note the elderly people or persons with terminally illnesses can still do, and personally I advise them to do also, holistic New Year resolutions and intentional living plans if they have not done them before. This provide directions in life and promote purposeful and meaningful life up to the end of life. Yung mga elderly people na medyo may edad na on the twilight zone na, okay, twilight years, and then people who have terminally ill diseases. They can also do, and they should do, mga holistic intentional living plan or intentional New Year resolutions. So how to do this intentional living plan? First step in making a holistic intentional living plan is spell out the overall directions and goals of life to live on earth. So that's the first thing that you have to do. So acceptable examples will be to have a purposeful and meaningful life on earth before death. We know that all of us will die, so we must have this goal. Then for the spiritual persons naman, they can have such a formulated goal to have a purposeful and meaningful spiritual life on earth before death in preparation for an eternal salvation in heaven. And then unacceptable examples will be the following because they're not holistic. So to say, to enjoy life on this world, to be rich, to be famous, to be the greatest person in terms of specific skills in this world. We know that all of these are transient. Okay? So my recommendations would be to have these statements, no? Acceptable examples would be to have a purposeful and meaningful life on earth before death for those who are not very spiritual, but for the spiritual person, they can also have this statement. Okay? Now, number 2 step will be to try to estimate your remaining lifespan on earth if you can, to guide your intentional living plan formulation. We know that we cannot predict when we're going to live, we're going to die, but you can do just as I said, try to estimate the remaining lifespan based on statistics, based on yung mga ginagamit sa insurance, no? Ganon. Okay, and then based on data, you ask your doctor if you, let's say, if you have terminally ill diseases, how how many years that you have left already, okay, that you want to make use of them. Okay. So those with existing specific disease, ask your physicians or Google it, or if you want, use the AI. Examples will be 5-year or 10-year survival rates for, let's say, cancer and the median survival rate. No? And then those who are elderly, 60 and above based on Philippine standards or practice, look at the actuarial, I think ginagamit mga insurance or the mortality table. The rest, kung hindi niyo magagawa itong ano, the rest just target 70 years old as this is roughly the average lifespan of Filipinos. We're not you're now 40, you can set 70 as your average target, as your target. No? Okay. Now, for those with illnesses, then you have to ask your physicians, ano yung usual lifespan of my particular disease? Then the third step in doing the holistic intentional plan is make a detailed holistic intentional living plan based on the overall direction and estimated lifespan. So my definition of intentional living plan is it's a plan that you make targeting a certain number of years in which you write down things that you intend or want to accomplish on your graduation day, meaning the last day of your targeted year, which will make you feel you have lived your life to the fullest, you have lived a meaningful life, and you are contented and ready to die a happy death. This is always the assumption, there's always the assumption and reality that all of us will die one day. So this should be guided by the overall direction and goals of life to live on earth. So this intentional living plan. So goals for self with timelines. No? So general, you have to put out general and specific goals with timelines, years set for the achievement and years set for maintenance. And then goals set for loved ones with timelines also. Sasama niyo ito. General and specific goals with timelines, years set for achievement, years for maintenance. And then for specific areas, in those goals set with timelines, so spiritual specific areas will be for those spiritual person. You may include to love and serve God, and then write down your spiritual plans with the timelines. Then for those other specific areas will be you identify the legacies that you want to leave behind or to accomplish before you die for your family and for your community. You want some legacy plans legacy that you want to leave behind for your family and your community. So write legacy plans with timelines. Now, other specific areas will be how to stay alive and not crippled, and then how to be productive, how to have a peace of mind, how to be contented, and how to enjoy life. Of course, you can include other concerns and then write the action plans for each area with timelines. Then the other area that you have to do is how to prepare for a happy death. Because there's an assumption that we will all die and we want to die contented and happy. And then also write a happy death plans with timelines. So here is my recommendations for the contents of the holistic intentional living plan based on overall directions and goals and estimated lifespan. So number one, you have the goals for oneself with timelines, and then the other one you set goals for their loved ones with timelines, and for your own self again. For the spiritual person, is someone who love and serve God, and then the legacies that you want to leave behind, then how to stay alive and not crippled, how to be productive, how to have a peace of mind, how to be contented, and how to enjoy life. And then the other most important thing to include will be how to prepare for a happy death. So after making the first draft of the detailed holistic intentional living plan based on your overall directions, goals, and estimated lifespan, which now constitute your holistic New Year resolutions, you must implement it right away at the start of the year, then keep track of the implementation during the year, and then you do the year-end performance review kung ano yung areas na na-achieve ninyo, kung hindi na-achieve, and then yung hindi niyo achieve, and you try to decide what are the things that you want to improve on for the next year. So continually improve on the plans. Then you can also refine the ones that you made before every year and or new year. Then identify the causes or of under and non-achieved outcomes and continuously improve on the next year until achieved. Then continuously maintain the good practices and achieve outcomes. Kung may mga good practices, i-maintain ninyo. Huwag niyo bibitawan. No? For those which are not achieved, try to make up for it. No? Try to improve. So this constitutes a lifetime work, meaning implement and continuously do self-improvement until you attain your holistic goals so that at the graduation day, at the time that you're gonna die, you feel you have lived your life to the fullest, you have lived a meaningful life, and you are contented and ready to die a happy death. So matrabaho lang, pero this will turn out to be very, very meaningful exercise or actual plan for your life. So my recommendations would be that this is my template that I usually recommend to people that I know. Okay? So I have been doing and implementing this template of holistic intentional living plan for my holistic New Year resolution since I was 45 years old, 1994 at that time, okay, up to the present. When it's a present, 70, actually 76 na ito ngayon, 25 years already, 2024, 2025 or 2026, no? But 31 years already. So initially it was difficult, but eventually smooth sailing with discipline and perseverance. Kasi for the past so many years, hinahasa mo lang yung intentional living plan mo. I'm contented and happy with the outcomes. And if I were to die today before my last breath, I can honestly say I have lived a purposeful life, have lived my life to the fullest, and have lived a meaningful life. Okay. I have these resolutions for so many years now and have been implementing. So the one that I showed you earlier. Okay. So examples of this love and serve God. Examples, specific plans is that I attended daily Catholic Mass, regular confessions, Holy Rosary, Holy Hour, compassionate humanitarian program. Then for legacies to leave behind, these are my legacies: PEP Talk, intentional living plan, patient-centered management plan, legacy as a medical teacher, legacy as a father. Then for those, for the how to prepare for a happy death, examples I have done, I'm constantly in state of spiritual grace because of my spiritual exercise here, Mass, confession, compassionate humanitarian program, and then continuous bonding with my family, completed my obligation to my children, and then I have done a so-called advanced healthcare directives. What will I do whenever the moment I get crippled, I cannot decide for my health. Okay? Then on how to stay alive and crippled examples, I try to make resolutions, make measures to avoid accidents, not to commit suicide, control whatever diseases that I may have so as not to cause or promote death, then avoid stress and live a healthy lifestyle. Then how to be productive examples will be in my medical practice, okay, doing medical practice, doing medical surgical education, blogging, family bonding, and then exercise relaxation, and social networking. Then for peace of mind, samples will be the resolutions that I have will be are always to be at peace with God, peace with everybody, every other human beings, and be at peace with authority, and then stress management. So these are just samples. And then to be contented, okay, always be grateful to God's blessing, and then no rat race in everything in my practice, okay, in my daily routine. Okay. How to enjoy life, resolutions that I make is that to enjoy different kinds of pleasures in life, sensual pleasures like eating, ego pleasure, accomplishment pleasure, appreciation pleasure like appreciation of beauty, okay, mga flowers, gardens, etc. Okay. So summary and takeaway, I have presented all these topics today. What are New Year resolutions? What is the importance of making New Year resolutions? What are holistic New Year resolutions? What are current pitfalls of most of the New Year resolutions that we have seen? And what are my recommendations on how to make holistic New Year resolutions? Again, my recommendation is that holistic New Year resolutions will be equivalent, should be synonymous with holistic intentional living plan and vice versa. It should be long-term, okay, whole lifetime at that. It should be encompassing and comprehensive, okay, with set goals continually in developing and improving tuloy-tuloy, okay, until the end of life, okay. And then, so I have given you example of my recommendations. Okay. So then I have also uh, advised you on what to do after you have made the first draft. You implement right away, keep track, you do a year-end review, continually improve, and then continually maintain the good practices. So as I said, it's not easy. This constitutes a lifetime work, but you just have to be perseverance and then be disciplined in implementing it. Takeaway in relation to patient empowerment, be always in touch with reliable medical information on how to make holistic New Year resolutions. Knowledge is power, it gives power. Use the 4Ks of patient empowerment, kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on how to make holistic New Year resolutions as part of your health management. So with that, I end my pep talk today. I hope I have empowered you to have an essential understanding on how to make holistic New Year resolutions as part of your health management. Before we go to the QA portion, reminder after the pep talk, please take the Olete for Mastery of Learning, and then obtaining 25 Olete certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a free ROJoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. And then type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum. So with that, let's now have a group picture taking before we start the QA and interactions. Okay. That's it. Ready? Okay, the floor is now open for questions, comments, suggestions, sharing of experiences. Anybody? Anybody want to start a comment? Patricia, Pat, ano yung New Year resolutions mo, Pat?
Living lang.
Meron ka nang ginawang New Year resolutions, Pat?
Healthy living.
Healthy living, ano pa?
Hmm.
Good,
Hmm. More work. Yun lang.
more work.
Yes.
Okay. Yung ano lang ha, yung tamang-tamang work lang ha, not too
Yes.
stressful.
Yung
Okay, ano pa?
kayang gawin na. Yun lang. Simple lang. Para kayang gawin.
Plano mo na. Ilang taon ka na ngayon?
35 na po.
Oh, 35, plano mo another 35 years long range plan.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
35 years, then they break it down into, let's say, kung for the first 5 years, anong gagawin mo? No?
Hmm.
And at yung first 5 years, out of the first 5 years plan, anong gagawin mo for this year? No? Ganun. So I start with long range one na,
Hmm.
then i-break down mo into smaller timelines. No?
Opo.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Jeng, anong New Year resolution mo, Jeng?
Dok, wala
Nagawa
akong
mo na? Nagawa mo na?
wala akong wala akong ginagawang resolution at ako'y nag-New Year po na may sakit, may lagnat,
Ah,
may ubo, sipon. Dok, yung
okay.
ginawa ko may pension living plan yung hindi ginawa natin dati.
Oh, pwede
Hindi ko pa
yun.
siya na-update kasi
Yan.
parang ang pagkakatanda ko hanggang 2024 yun lang yung nagawa kong year.
Ayan, pwede
Kaso
yun.
anong year na?
Okay.
Anong year na ngayon, 2026? Hindi ko pa siya ulit nagagawa para
Oo.
magkaroon ng extension ng halimbawa, panibagong 5 years na kung ano yung mga dapat kong gawin.
Yan.
Siguro po,
Okay.
yun po yung aanhin ko. Ngayon, pag
Yan.
nag-okay na po yung pakiramdam ko.
Okay. Okay. So, since nagawa mo na yung initial draft, medyo madali na yan. I-refine
Opo,
mo na
Doc.
lang yan.
Opo.
No? Okay.
Update ko lang po yung
Oo.
mga plano ko pa na gagawin in next 5 years.
Okay. Ilang taon ka na ba ngayon?
51 po.
Iwan, o meron ka pang 19 years the target para umabot ka ng 70. First cut off. First cut off. Ah, okay. Sige,
Opo, Doc.
madali lang yon. Kasi sa akin, matagal ko na nire-refine. Every year, nire-refine ko lang. Konting editing lang. No? Okay.
Okay po. Yes
Okay.
po.
So, si Catherine Orante, meron ka ng New Year resolutions? Catherine?
Po.
Hindi
Yun
mo?
nga do, gusto ko na po sanang mag-lose ng weight. Kasi parang napadami ako ng kain ngayon.
Oh,
Pwede ba
yeah.
kaya Dok mag-exercise?
Yeah. Exercise, pwede. Lahat naman dapat mag-exercise.
Kasi Dok,
Na,
nung tatakot ako kasi gawa ng yun nga, di ba kaka-opera ko lang. Eh baka sabi nila baka daw bumuka yung tahi, ganyan-ganyan.
yung,
Kaya natatakot ako.
pag sinabi mong exercise, it varies in degrees, di ba? Hindi naman yung meron mga full exercise, meron mga konting exercise, no?
Okay, Dok.
So, but bottom line is, lahat tayo mag-exercise to a certain
Okay po.
degree, no? Kahit na yung mga sinasabi ko may flu, may lagnat, no? Pinapa-exercise ko pa rin kahit na konti, no?
Mm,
Kasi paano yan, nagpo-promote ng panggaling din yun eh. Kasi kung palaging nasa
Okay.
kama lang, kasi kung may flu ka, 10 days ka na sa kama, mas tagal lang recovery mo. No?
Opo.
Tama, na-experience mo yun, di ba? So
Opo, Dok.
dapat may konting exercise, lalakad-lakad kung may masakit ng let's say may
Ayun nga,
sakit.
Dok, nag-jogging ako kaso, Dok, ano ba to? Nakakaramdam ako minsan, Dok, ng masakit yung binti ko, yung yung, ano to? Ano ba yung left, Tagalog?
Kaliwa,
Kaliwa.
kaliwa,
Kaliwang
kaliwa.
binti, Dok. Pag nag-exercise ako, sumasakit siya, parang nangangatal na hindi ko maintindihan.
Adi,
Kaya minsan ako.
konting muna, alalay lang. Let's say, pahinga na konti, and then balik ka na konti. Ganon, exercise. No?
Opo, Dok.
Eventually, mawawala yan. No?
Opo.
So yung mga, hindi ko alam, ilang taon ka na ba?
33 po, Doc.
Sana hindi arthritis yon. Pwede din magkaroon ng arthritis kasi pag di mo ginagalaw kahit anong edad, sasakit yon, no? So yung gamutan ng arthritis, exercise nga no? Hindi,
Opo.
hindi gamot, no?
Opo.
So,
Lagi naman po kami, Doc, naglalakad. Every morning po. Ayun nga.
yung lakad, kulang yon, ha? Yung
Opo.
magbe-bending ka, mag-squat ka, lahat ng range of motion exercise gagawin mo.
Pwede ba yun, Doc? Kahit bagong opera pa lang? Kahit 1 month pa lang po.
Kahit yung kaliwang kamay mo, pwede, di ba? Oh.
Opo. Yung kamay ko, Doc, natataas ko na siya. Unti-unti na ano ko na din.
Oo. Basta importante matandaan mo dapat may exercise, no?
Opo.
Okay. Daily. Okay,
Opo, Doc.
daily. Kaya ako wala akong problema ng yung mga although every now and then sasakit yung mga kasukasuan ko pero tolerable naman because I do my stretching, flexing exercise, saka walking exercise almost every day for the past
Opo.
yung every day mga 10 years na yon, no? Ganon, no?
Opo.
Okay,
Salamat po, Doc.
sige. Okay. So Perla, anong New Year resolution mo, Perla? May anong mga bagong New Year resolutions ka?
So far, Doktor, yun, kagaya kay Miss Orante, yung healthy living, ganun. Tapos, exercise, tuwing umaga po, Doktor, pagkagising ko ng alas 4, I do deep breathing exercises. Tapos, yung mga galaw-galaw sa kamay, sa paa.
Okay.
Kasi,
So may daily routine ka, kasama yung daily routine.
ano pa, Doktor?
Yung mga daily routine na ginagawa ka na.
Opo, yung tapos pag umaga, inaano ko yung mga aso ko, pinapasyal ko sila, di parang walking na rin po yun.
Yeah.
Oo.
Okay. Importante na may daily routine sa kasama sa healthy lifestyle yun no? Yung daily routine, no? Okay. So anything else? Si Lorly. Lorly. Meron ka na? Lorly. Na-update mo na yung intentional living plan mo, Lorly? Ha? Boses, di kita marinig.
Ganun din, Doc. Healthy living lang. Tsaka exercise. Minsan
Oh.
hindi.
I-update mo. I-update mo meron kang intentional living plan dati, di ba?
Parang hindi ko na po, Doc, na nagtuloy yun.
Kaya nga, balikan mo. Ituloy mo. Madali namang ibalikan yun konting updating lang yun. No?
Opo.
Ako, i-update ko pa, gagawin kong mas magandang, ang plano ko for the next 6 years, anong gagawin ko. Okay.
Salamat po.
Okay. So, any more? So, I hope you have a forthcoming new year with good directions that with formulation of your holistic New Year resolutions, no? So make it long range and then break it down into yung mas mahikli, short term, medium term, and then yearly, no? Okay. Kasi kung puros year lang, wala kang long range plan di ba? So, pag sinabing healthy lifestyle, yung long range plan na yun, pero itutuloy ninyo, i-maintain ninyo. Okay? Wag lang for this year. Okay. So, yung iba naman, healthy diet, ganun din. Exercise, ganun din. So, make sure that, let's say, kung magsaset kayo yung goal ng exercise, it's either daily, mas maganda daily, or at least 3 times a week. Ganun. Okay. So, any more questions? If there are no more questions, we'll call it a day. Meron pa ba kayong comment? Wala na.
Wala na, Dok.
Sige. Okay, so we'll see each other next week again. No? Okay. So welcome again, Catherine and Pat. I hope you'll be... Kuha kayo ng olete, Pat. You know how to take the olete?
Po, kakalo ko lang yung form.
Meron akong link dyan, di ba? May
Opo.
link ako. Sige. Kuha ka ng olete para meron kang certificate.
Sige po.
Okay. 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 Have a nice weekend. We'll see each other next week again.
Thank you.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you, Doc. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Here po, Happy New Year. Bye-bye po.
Bye.
New Year po.
Bye-bye.
Lovely
Bye po.
po. Bye, Ate Perla.